Leo, welcome to your hopes, fears, and reality spread. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below, and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each individual card. So here we go. Whew. All right. So, what you're hoping for is a little bit more balance in your life and a lot of lighthearted energy. Okay. You feel that things have been too serious for too long and you haven't had a chance to just kind of let loose and play a little bit. So, it's like the pendulum went this far because everything was hard work and seriousness and getting everything together that you're looking to balance it out by letting the pendulum swing all the way to the other side to be a little bit more playful than you normally would and maybe blow off some of that seriousness. And then eventually you want it to meet somewhere in the middle where you have a good balance between your work life and your play life. So it's almost like you want to go out and party for just a moment because you've been working really hard. And then when you're done partying, you want to strike that nice balance. That's what you're hoping for. The fear that you have is that once you get to celebrating a little bit too much, you'll kind of get sucked into the emotional side of celebrating, and you'll wind up falling into some of those old habits of the past. Okay, because the Six of Cups can often be about nostalgia, and what this is telling me with the Queen of Cups, with the Six of Cups in the inverse and the Queen of Cups in the inverse, this tells me that you fear getting swept up in it and not having the control. It's one thing to heal your inner child or let your inner child out to play. It's another thing to let the inner child take over. And especially with the Queen of Cups in the inverse, it's a very, very emotional kind of pull. You fear getting swept up in the whimsy of playtime, so to speak. Um, the reality of the situation is that you've always had a little bit of trouble balancing your work life and your play life. You tend to blur the lines one way or the other all the time, and you tend to combine those two worlds when you know it's not the best thing to do. And you kind of feel like you're going from this seriousness into this very playful energy, that it's taking you out of something that's very steady and calm and just putting you into that emotional whirlwind of the heavy ebbs and flows. I swear, it's like you want to let loose, but you're afraid of getting like really sucked up and getting too far gone. The reality of the situation is that you're stuck. You feel like you are. I almost want to say like right now, what this card represents is a little bit of cabin fever. Like if you don't get out and do something, you're just gonna, ugh, you know. But you feel like if you do, you're gonna get too caught up in it. So you're constantly going back and forth and keeping score in your head. Should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? But ultimately, the need to just let loose and throw caution to the wind and get rid of responsibilities for just one night is so alluring. You know you're going to do it eventually. You're just trying to plan the right time. Don't fear. Really, honestly, don't fear. Because what you've learned in all of this situation here is that you are actually good at being responsible when you have to be, you know. When push comes to shove, you put the work in that does need to be done. So I would say that your fear is a healthy one. So as you go out and you try and blow off steam from all the responsibility and seriousness that you've been dealing with, as long as you keep in mind that you know you might get too wrapped up in it, you're going to make those good decisions. And after you blow off a little bit of steam, this tells me right here that you can find that balance between the work life and the play life, okay? But you do need to blow off a little bit of steam first. Just keep in mind how much is too much, and set a boundary for yourself and maintain it, because if you can't even maintain your own boundaries, how do you expect other people to maintain your boundaries? So go ahead and set that goal. Tell your friends you're going to go out, but you're going to be home by this time. Or tell your friends you want to go out and do something, but you don't want to go to a bar. Maybe you just want to go to a restaurant. That way you'll have 2 glasses of wine instead of 9 shots of whiskey. Little things like that. Put those limitations on that fun time that you're doing, and you'll eventually strike that balance that you're looking for. I have faith in you, Leo. I think you can do this. It's a very mature approach to life. and blowing off a little steam. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you next week.